Alex finally came to bed, I think, around 1, and I was still awake. And I just eventually ended up having a mini breakdown. Good morning, guys. It's Friday and I'm getting ready to go to work. I decided to sleep in a little bit this morning because I had a bit of a rough night. Just dealing with like the emotions of the day, and oddly enough, I didn't mention when I was at the doctor's office yesterday, most of my joints weren't hurting, and so they couldn't get a really good overall picture of the type of joint pain I've been having. And I told them, I said that probably the reason today I feel okay is because I've been literally like in bed for 3 days. And I said, you know, I had pain all up until just last night, and then it finally subsided. They were able to find a few tender joints. They did not find any swelling in my right knee, which is where most of my swelling ends up. But they did so many different things to manipulate my joints and press on joints and do all these different things to look for swelling and look for pain, that as I was going home from the doctor's, the pain started up. And by the time I got home, I got off the bus by here and had to walk from the bus stop to our home. I was limping. So it's just the way it goes sometimes when you, for some reason, a lot of the times when you go to the doctors for whatever symptoms you've been having, they magically aren't there when you go to the doctor, and then they magically return as soon as you leave. And I'm not even kidding, like even my family doctor has told me this happens to a lot of people. He's like, it's a mystery, we don't understand it, but it does happen. But this doctor that I saw yesterday, who, like I said, was a new doctor, he told me that I was supposed to have stopped taking naproxen, that usually I should stop taking naproxen 2 days before I go to the lupus clinic. This is news to me. No one has ever told me this. And he said, yeah, they usually ask you to do that, especially if you've been having symptoms, because obviously the naproxen is an anti-inflammatory, so it works to, you know, mask those symptoms. And so sometimes what happened yesterday, I could go in and not have the symptoms for them to see. Whereas maybe if I had stopped taking naproxen for 2 days prior, I'd be in, you know, more of a condition that they'd be able to see things. So at least I know now for the future, but I'm kind of annoyed that this wasn't brought to my attention before. So they want to see me back in 2 months instead of 3. And I'm to get blood work done in a month's time, because when you're on Myfortic, it can affect your white blood cell counts. So they have to keep a close eye on that. But I'm getting ready for work this morning and my knee is really sore, so I'm going to take an Uber. But I just wanted to show you, I'm getting my lunch ready. I've got cantaloupe, I've got homemade macaroni salad, which I actually made this on Wednesday night because I was feeling so good. I was like, I've been meaning to make this for lunches for us for a while, and I'm like, I'm just going to do it because I felt good, and I'm like, I'm going to take advantage. I got a granola bar, I've got some cucumber, and I got a banana. So this is the turmeric that I picked up. It says fast acting helps relieve joint pain. I've only taken one so far, haven't really noticed anything, but obviously, hopefully, as I take it more, which I have to take it right now with my meds, and then I have to take it again at lunch and dinner. Hopefully that'll help. And then real quick before I get ready to go, I want to show you what else I got at the drugstore. Is I found this tea called Throat Coat, because you guys know, you can hear it now actually, my voice is kind of raspy today, but you know, sometimes I have issues with my throat. So I thought this would be a good thing to have on hand to try out whenever I get an irritated throat. And then I just picked up more ginger anti-nausea tablets. So that's going on there. So I got to get all this packed up. I got to take my meds, brush my teeth, get dressed, and call an Uber and be on my way to work, and hopefully pray that I get through the day. At least Margaret's in preschool this morning, so basically as soon as I get to work, I give Annie her bottle, put her down for her nap, and I have about an hour of doing nothing. So it'll be an easy start to my day at least. But then I have to take Annie over to pick up Margaret from preschool at 11:30, and it's about a 10-minute walk from their home. So there and back. So, and coming back, it's a little bit uphill, which I have trouble with that sometimes. So we'll see how that goes with my knee. Hey guys, excuse my messy hair. I just woke up. Yes, it is now Saturday morning. I did not get to finish off the vlog yesterday. So first off, let me give you the good parts, or maybe I should end on a positive note. Let's get to the good parts after. So I did have a good day at work, and that's what I'll talk about. But I got home and I was so exhausted. We had dinner and we watched the latest episode of The Handmaid's Tale, and ooh man, I love that show. That show is messed up. But I like it. Like Alex and I are both really enjoying this show. So we watched that while we ate dinner. And then I started to catch up on some YouTube videos. And I was fighting to stay awake. My eyes were so heavy. I was just so tired. So I ended up heading to bed. And also my breathing was really bothering me a lot when I was like sitting there. And so then anyways, so I headed to bed at about, finally I think I decided to go to bed around 10:30, which is like really early for me because I am a bit of a night owl. So I went to bed. But as soon as I laid down, my breathing got worse, because that's what happens sometimes when this hits me. It's worse when I lay down, which is probably why when I had the laying down part of my breathing test, they noticed my breathing muscles were weaker laying down. So it makes sense that sometimes when I lay down, my breathing problems get worse. I was having the crackling sound coming from my throat again. When I was inhaling, you can hear all this, like, it sounds like I have pop rocks in my throat. And my irregular heartbeat was going a little wonky as well. It's not often that I can feel the extra heartbeats, but there's some times where I can, and it's almost like palpitations. So anyways, I was trying to go to sleep, but the thing with my breathing is, like, it's not like I can't breathe because I'm breathing, but what it is it's like a restricted feeling in my chest. Like I can't fully fill up my lungs. And I would describe it as when I'm laying down, it feels like someone is like sitting on my chest and restricting, you know, the amount of space I have to get air. So I tried to get to sleep, but it just would not light up. Like I took my inhaler, because right now all I have for an inhaler is Ventolin as needed. I really have found that it doesn't really do anything for me anymore. When I get short of breath, when I'm moving around and I get short of breath, I'll take it, and sometimes it'll help that. But for the most part, I just have to let it go away on its own. And this is the longest that it went on for, and it was really kind of freaking me out a little bit, and it was really like, it's just a very uncomfortable feeling. So I could not get to sleep at all. Alex finally came to bed, I think around 1, and I was still awake. And I just eventually ended up having a mini breakdown. And you can probably tell my eyes are really puffy because I was crying so much. Like, just all the emotions of the week, the good and the bad, like everything just kind of hit me. And you know, like, you just have to have those moments sometimes, like, no matter what the situation is, like whether you're chronically ill or not, like everyone has their moments where you break, and you just have to, like, I'm kind of the person that tends to keep it all in, and, you know, because I don't like crying because your eyes get all red and puffy and you get a headache, and I find, like, I think for me, I keep it inside for so long that, because for me, when I do let myself cry, I can't stop because I've held it in for so long, and I couldn't stop. And Alex was like hugging me, and I just couldn't, like, and then that's the other thing, like, I try to cry by myself because I find that I can calm myself down faster when I'm by myself. But if there's like Alex or my mom or something that's with me, as soon as they, like, you know, show me support by like hugging me or whatever, then I just lose it even more. So I just bawled and bawled. Like, I just could not stop crying. And, but I have to say, as much as I hate crying, I feel like it is necessary. You know, everyone should have a good cry from time to time, because honestly, like, once it's over and done with, other than the fact that your eyes are puffy and you get a headache sometimes, it feels better. Like, it feels good to get it out. And I actually ended up being able to breathe better after that. So I almost wonder if maybe, like, it was not just my lung problems. Maybe that's why it was going on for so long. Maybe it was like anxiety. I don't know. I mean, I've never had anxiety attacks before or anything like that, so I don't really know what they feel like or anything, but I'm wondering if it was like some kind of anxiety thing, because it was like, as soon as I got it all out of my system, I started to feel better, and I was able to fall asleep, and yeah. So I had a rough night, but I'm feeling better this morning. And yesterday at work, it went really well. It was actually a very easy day for me. I took a new approach to things. So Fridays are always a little bit easier for me because, like I've said before, Margaret's at preschool in the morning. So I get there and I give Annie her bottle and I put her down for her nap. So she napped from about 9:30 to 10:30, maybe 10:45. And then I got her up so that I could get her ready, so that, because we have to pick up Margaret at 11:30. Now Margaret's mom was actually home in the morning because she was doing some stuff in preparation for going back to work. So it was really sweet of her. She actually put the stroller, because they keep the stroller on their porch, so I usually have to carry it down the stairs and all that stuff, and she did all that for me. She took the stroller down the stairs for me and stuff. She offered to do that, so that was really nice. That was really helpful for her to do that. So then I just went off with Annie, and so I decided that what I tend to do, I think, at work is rush. I don't pace myself. Like, I think what I need to do is just slow down a little bit. And that's probably why I get so short of breath at work, because I'm just like going and trying to get everything done quickly. But really, I just decided yesterday that I'm going to slow down and just move slower, and really, you know, kind of listen to my body a bit more. And it really helped, like, walking to the school to get Margaret. I just took my time. I walked. I didn't rush, you know, like I didn't like speed walk or, you know, I just walked at a good pace that didn't cause me any, you know, discomfort. So got there, picked her up, and then came back to the house and got lunch ready. And lunch is when I'm really usually like hustling about. And so this time I just really took my time. When we got home, I put Annie in, they have like an exerciser kind of thing. So it has like activities all around it. She sits in the middle and there's activities all around it. And then she can also like bounce up and down in it. And she was in a really good mood yesterday, which helped. So she was in a good mood. So she was actually having a ball in the exerciser. So I just left her there while I made my lunch. Sometimes she doesn't like being left in there that long, but yesterday she was having a ball. She was laughing, she was jumping up and down, having a blast. So I was like, okay, you can stay there and have fun while I get lunch ready. And I got lunch ready for all of us, and kind of served it all at once, because usually what I do is like I'll serve it to Margaret, then I'll get Annie's stuff and bring it to the table, then I'll get my lunch and bring it to the table. But I never, for some reason, I never bring my full lunch, so I'm always kind of like go up and down and going back and forth like several times to the kitchen, and I'm like, why am I doing this? So yesterday, like I said, I just slowed it down. I just tried to like stay calm, and it worked. Like, so basically I just made sure that I brought everything to the table all at once so that I didn't have to keep getting up to get things. So I had everything there. I think I only had to get up maybe once or twice to grab something that I forgot during lunch. But when I did, I just took my time walking. I didn't like rush. And I made sure like to give some little finger foods to Annie, so that kind of kept her occupied as well. So, you know, like she has a lot of baby food, but she also has some like finger foods that are kind of like soft or whatever. So I made sure she had some of that, so that I didn't have to constantly be feeding her, so that I could eat my lunch without her being like, hey, why aren't you feeding me, kind of thing. And so, you know, I would give her like a spoonful or two, and then I would eat some of my lunch and she would eat some of the finger foods while I was eating my lunch. So that worked out really well. And then yeah, so then as I had to clean up, like I needed to sweep the floor under her high chair. I didn't want to put her down on the floor when the floor was dirty. So again, to keep her occupied, like I got her cleaned up, I got her high chair cleaned up, and they have this little monkey toy that has suction cups to things. So I suction cupped that to the high chair, and she played with that while I cleaned up the kitchen and cleaned up the floor, and she was totally cool with that. So I did that, and that worked out really well. And then once the kitchen was done, I was able to bring her down, and then Margaret finished up her lunch, and then we all played together. Margaret wanted to have a birthday party for Annie, so we did a little bit of that, and then it was Annie's nap time, and Annie was still sleeping. I couldn't believe she slept this long, but it was pretty much, I just had Margaret for the afternoon because Annie was still napping when I left, and I actually got out early because her grandparents were coming to visit for the evening, and they got there at 4. I usually get off at 5, but they got there at 4, and so I was able to leave. But by the time, like I didn't leave right away because I had some things I needed to tidy up and whatnot. So I think by the time I left, it was maybe like 4:15, something like that. So yeah, I was like, oh, I get off early, and the baby was still sleeping when I left. So I was like, wow. And I'm assuming that Margaret's mom had told her why I didn't come on Wednesday. I don't know exactly what she told her, but she must have told her something about my knees hurting me, because Margaret was so sweet to me yesterday. She kept telling me to be careful of my knees, like, don't kneel down, be careful of your knees. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was so cute. And she was actually like the most helpful that she's ever been. Like, she was getting stuff for me. She was helping tidying up without me asking her to. I mean, she was just super helpful. And I was like, wow, I was just blown away. And so I think I showed you when we went to Target in the US that I bought these little Dr. Seuss reward cards that came with like temporary tattoos. So I finally remembered to bring them yesterday. And so I ended up giving her one because I was like, you were really, really helpful today. And you did a really good job. So I gave her that. And yeah, like I couldn't believe how helpful she was. It was so sweet. And I almost started crying at one time because like it was just not because I was sad, but like because I was just really touched by this 3-year-old like being so helpful. Like I couldn't believe it. And I don't know, like it was really touching. And then we just enjoyed, she got a new set of clay, not Play-Doh, but clay. And so we spent literally the entire afternoon making stuff out of clay because she just was so enthralled with it. And so we just sat at the table playing with clay, which was really nice for me. And we ended up making, at one point we made some like donuts and cookies and pretzels and things like out of the clay. And so she pretended to go shopping at the sweet shop, and she wanted to, I don't know how it came about, but somehow we got on the topic of Cookie Monster, and it came into my mind, one of my favorite Cookie Monster skits, if you want to call it that, is from the Christmas episode when he's trying to contact Santa, and he eats his pencil, and then he eats the typewriter, and then he eats the phone because they look like cupcakes. And oh my god, it just kills me every time. So I was telling her about it, and she said, she was like laughing, and so I said, oh, I could probably find it on the internet. So sure enough, it was like there on YouTube. So I let her watch it, and she was like in hysterics, and it was hilarious. Like, she just brightened my day. Like, she was just laughing so much, and so she wanted to watch it like twice. But yeah, I love that skit so much. It's hilarious. So that was really nice. It was a really good day. So I am going to really try from now on to just slow down a little bit and pace myself, because I think I'm still in the mentality that, because when you work in a daycare center, you have to stick to the schedule. So you are required to rush. Like, you have to rush so that you stay on track with the schedule and on time with everything. But when you're a nanny, like, you have the leeway. Like, you can set the schedule yourself. You can, you know, you don't have to have lunch done by a certain time, really. Like, so I'm still kind of learning that, you know, I don't have to, you know, if lunch is a little bit late, it's a little bit late. It's okay. So I just have to slow down. So I really didn't get out of breath very much at all yesterday, mainly just like going up the stairs and stuff. But yeah, so that was that, and I think that'll be it for now, because this is actually longer than I actually intended it to be. But it was such a good day at work, so that kind of trumps over my mini breakdown. And sometimes, like I said, you need a mini breakdown to continue to push forward, which is what I'm going to do. And Alex this morning has gone to take the Sharps container to the pharmacy, since I won't be doing injections anymore. And he's taking the extra methotrexate back to the pharmacy, and he's checking the P.O. box and all that good stuff. And then he has a whole bunch of prescriptions to fill for me as well. It's probably going to be an expensive bill, because my Fortic is, if I remember correctly, it's like $500 a month. But the good thing is that Alex's works insurance covers 80% of that. And once we've paid $500 out of pocket, which I would not be surprised if by today we've hit the $500, like after we pay for the prescriptions today, if we've hit $500 out of pocket. But once we've paid $500 out of pocket, our prescriptions are 100% covered. So, yeah, so once we pay out of pocket, I think we only have to pay like the dispensing fee of like $6 for a $500 medication. So I am so thankful for the insurance that he has through his work. So yeah. So that is it for this video, guys. I'm going to end this here because I don't want it to be any longer than this, because it's already probably long. So anyways, guys, thanks for listening to me ramble, and thanks for all your love and support. And I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't want to go on any longer. So I'll probably save that for another video when it comes back into my head. I think that's it. So I hope you all have an awesome weekend. Alex is going out tonight with his friends, so I'm seriously considering trying to do my first live stream. I think that would be kind of fun. I've been thinking about doing that for a while, and I learned a lot about it at Creator Days, so I think I might do that later today. But anyways, that's the end of that. I'm going to start my day now, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.